My name is Nicole Ditommaso. I am the proud owner of Thing Designer Co. I've spent years building brands rooted in confidence. But the truth is, Sauce Boss Gang was not born from a hot sauce recipe or a cool logo or an immaculate business plan. No, it was built from a story of grit, growth, and guidance and real life experience. My real life experience. It was my story. Years ago, you would have thought from the outside I had it all. Executive level position, great salary, constant bonuses, fancy title. But on the inside, I was completely broken. I spent years of my life shrinking to fit in rooms, my voice always muted, and my ideas always dismissed, but somehow always used. So one day I woke up and I remember this day so vividly. And I just thought, I can no longer build somebody else's vision that doesn't align with who I am. I cannot play the game anymore. And so I know I had to make a change. And an honest gray, just reassurance to me that I made the best change, the best decision that I have made to date in my entire life. I walked away. And now I know it can be terrifying to walk away from something that provides what you view as stability, especially when you do not have a blueprint. You don't know the next step for you. And trust me, I did not know what was coming next. I just knew I couldn't continue to do what I was doing. I knew two things when I sat and I thought about it. One, I wanted to create again. I wanted to create something bold, something exciting, something powerful. And secondly, I wanted it to really mean something. And so Sauce Boss Gang was born, but not from a business. It was born as a way for me to reclaim my confidence and my voice and empower others to do the same. Now, my story is one of real life experience. So we're going to get a little raw here and real in the later version of this. But my whole point today is I just wanted to be real because business is messy. As you know, creating is messy. You don't have all of the answers, and sometimes things don't make sense till much later on in your story. So the branding blueprint is something I designed to not only remind myself, but to help others feel confident in building whatever your vision is. Working with brands over the years, I realized one thing. Every powerful brand has a clear, concise story that they tell. Now, it's not a pitch and it's not a product. It is a mission. It doesn't matter what's on your label. It's about what people feel when they experience your product. Your story is the DNA of your brand. It should always be the heartbeat, the place that you return to, and what you're pouring out into the world. It's how people connect to you, how it feels real to them, and resonates with real life, and also builds customer loyalty. Sauce Boss Gang's story is about renewal. It's about reclaiming confidence. It's real, and it's about sharing the darker chapters of your life and overcoming them and stepping into the next chapter confidently. Our labels reflect that story. So from the artwork and the designs, the title names, they all represent a chapter of my journey and what I was trying to overcome and what I was feeling and experiencing at the time of creation. Now, when you line the bottles up on the back, we don't use the real estate on the label to talk about the flavor profile. We use the real estate on the label to tell the story, each chapter. And when you line up the collection, you read my first chapter to present day. It's just so funny to see it. It's like, wow. And it's so funny. I want to share a real story real quick. There was a moment in time that I actually removed the story from the back labels. I wasn't that confident with it. I said, I don't know if I want to be that vulnerable. And I don't even really know if it's truly impacting people. Do you want to know, the second I removed that story from the back of the label, I had more emails, more phone calls, more feedback than I had ever got. Why'd you remove the story? I look forward to reading that chapter of the story before I pour this hot sauce on my eggs. It reminds me that if you can do it, I can do it too. And that really changed my whole perception on branding. And that's exactly what I set out to create, was a movement. Sauce Boss Gang exists not for hot sauce. My goal was never to start a hot sauce company. It was to start a movement that people could believe in. It was to pour confidence into the world. And so with the branding blueprint, there's 4 key measurements that I use and that I encourage you to think about. Because if you use these as a guideline, I promise you, you will always land in the right place. First is own your truth. Not the polished version, the ugly, the messy, the real version of your story. We live in a world today where everything is filtered and fake. We don't want that. We want real. We want human connection. So don't be afraid to share your truth. For me, it was the gut-wrenching truth that I completely lost myself in my last position, and I had to rebuild anew. And for me, that was a really, really scary place to be, because I just didn't even know how to get back to the old me. Secondly, define your mission. What do you want people to feel when they experience your brand? The product that you're putting out into the world should almost be secondary, but the feeling and the experience people gain when they interact with your brand, that is what is truly powerful. Sauce Boss Gang, from the labels, logos, artworks, voice, tone, always promotes a bold, empowering voice. So I encourage you to think about how you can bake your DNA of your brand into everything that you do. Make every single piece reflect your story. And I'm also a believer, if you're operating truthfully to your core of your brand, your daily actions in real life are reflecting that too. Lastly, invite others into your story. Yes, your brand started with you, but it's not all about you. It's about creating a place for others to connect. It's about creating the feeling, a community. So get feedback, especially what people are feeling when they experience your brand. So lastly, I want to leave you with 2 things. One, no matter if you're starting to build a brand or you've already built a brand and you feel lost, go back to the beginning of why you started. Why did you create what you're creating? And what were you feeling at the time of creation? They say great brands always become an even greater story. and I believe that. So also, don't ever be afraid to rewrite your story. The story we tell ourselves is the most important story because it pours out into the world. So I want to thank you guys tonight for being a part of my story, because to be truthfully, I didn't have a lot of time to prepare tonight and I wasn't feeling the most confident. But I thought, if I don't do this, if I don't just share my story, I'm not living my brand. And that is just completely unacceptable to me because I've worked too hard to get here, and I want to inspire others to take a chance on themselves, stepping outside of the box in any opportunity they can. So that's it. Thank you.